I'm well. How are you?
I'm really well too. I'm so happy to see you.
Oh my God, it's so nice to see you. I'm glad that all the stars aligned and
I
that
it
sacred
is
timing tonight is the time we're meant to meet.
absolutely 100% feel it as well because I
Mhm.
am going through like this massive like give and take kind of
Mm.
transformation. And I was like, this is just the most perfect timing just to kind of suss out some little pieces. So for everyone watching, do you want to explain what you do?
Of course, of course. So I'm a psychic leadership coach and I work with women and help them reconnect to their innate wild nature, unleash their feminine energy and activate their psychic gifts so they can create the success, influence, and impact that their soul came here to create. I don't believe that success needs to come from hustling. So I really work with high achieving women to redefine like what does it mean to be successful? What is success on your terms? And how can we use your business or your career as a vehicle for impact and the life you want to lead?
Yeah, that's incredible because I know that there's going to be so many women listening being like, that's me.
Yeah, right. And we're so conditioned to, like, women are so conditioned to lead from a way that is so against then their bodies, their cycles, and their feminine. And that, like, when a woman leads from that embodiment, that's when she's in her power, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. 100%. It's
Mm.
like having that feminine balance, which I know when I feel balanced, everything starts to just become a bit more magnetic to me
Yeah.
rather than it being like a controlling force. Because I think
Yeah.
when we're too in our masculine, we get very like
Mhm.
agitated and we're like resistant, aren't we? And then if we're too in our feminine, it's like, whoa, well, where's the structure? We're up in the air. Like, I don't know.
Well, pure feminine energy is creativity, so it's chaos, right?
Yeah,
And so I love that you mentioned the word balance because that's something that I think a lot of feminine teachers miss out on is we actually need to have a really good understanding of our masculine so
yeah,
we can use our masculine to be more in our feminine, right?
absolutely, 100%. And I think it's just something that's really coming through now and being spoken about because even
Mhm.
for me personally, I mean, I would say only actually recently I've really discovered the a
Yeah.
balance to work and life and things. But if you
Mm.
said to me 5 years ago,
Hmm.
before I started like my healing and like really diving into all of the different realms of healing,
Yeah.
I would have been like, sorry, what? Like feminine and
Yeah.
masculine? Like,
Yeah.
like, but it's something that we should so be taught because people don't know that it's the control or the chaos.
And that's like you touch on such an important part is we don't know what we don't know. And the problem is every single woman, until they have a period of like remembering and awakening, has been conditioned to live from a place of disharmony. And that's been set up systematically and very intentionally. And so women are disconnected from their bodies. They don't realize that their eroticism is the pathway to their confidence, their power, their magnetism. They don't realize that the bodies are the gateways to them, like unapologetically backing themselves and to this unshakable sense of trust because they've been taught to lead from the head, right? Whereas it's like it's nearly like when you lead from the feminine, we flip the script because it's body first, head second.
Yeah, absolutely. A hundred
Right.
percent. Like, I just feel like so many people can discover this in their life, but like you said, it needs that thing that
Yeah.
awakens them to be like, oh, there's this whole different realm of what life out there. And
Yeah.
what are the kind of common things you see in people that
Yeah.
allows them to have that awakening?
Well, I think that everyone goes through that moment where it's either like there's an accident, there's
Mm.
a sickness or something, or there's like a breakup that's like tectonically shakes who they are. And it's nearly like something happens that'll be in an event or an experience that literally stops people in their tracks and they
Yeah.
can't go on the way that they come on. And so then that opens up like curiosity and a new way of doing things. And whether it be relationship breakup, whether it be like a redundancy, an accident like it was in my case, sickness is a lot of things in women's case. There is some event or experience that happens that really shakes someone's world and really starts to lift the veil off the suppression that everyone is kind of walking around and living with.
Yeah, 100%. And like yours was an accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was
So
hit by a car, right? Like I was like the epitome of a corporate woman, like flying around the world, high pressure job, awards, money, accolades, like quote unquote, the definition of success, but like fucking miserable, overwhelmed, exhausted, burnt out, like running on the smell of an oily rag. But like everyone around me was like, well, she's successful. And myself and my ego, right? Like that was what I aspired to be, you know?
yeah.
And then I got hit by a car and it was like, you can't do this.
Oh my gosh. And what
Mm.
happened when
Well,
you got
the interesting thing was my intuition. So as I've always been very spiritual. So I've been psychic from the time I think for as long as I can remember, but it's something that I switched off because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why I could see ghosts or spirits or energies and why, people couldn't understand the things that I was experiencing.
Yeah, I'm so with you on that. I remember being young, being like, I'm feeling things. Like, are you feeling these things? And the only person I could ever talk to about it was my gran,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
she got it. And we used to walk down the bottom of the garden, and she like
Mm.
secretively had a little cigarette that didn't want anyone to know about. And then like we would talk about it. And then when
Yeah.
she passed, I blocked it off. I was like, nobody can know about this. Like, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
drive, drive, drive. And
Hmm.
yeah, mine was same. I didn't get hit by a car. That's awful for like
Yeah.
what an accident. But mine was at work. I was getting groomed, and
Oh.
yeah, and I went through a like it was a horrible experience, and it ended
Mm.
really awfully. And
Mm.
I went, why is this happening? Like, why
Yeah.
is this happening? And I was so on the edge of like suicidal thoughts, and I was like, there's a reason that this is
Mm.
all happening. And now
Yeah.
looking back in hindsight after doing so much healing, I can see it's because I was so blocking off the
Yeah.
who I was and like what I was actually connected to.
And this is the thing, like something that we need to remember is that we are souls having a human experience.
Yeah.
And so when we can understand that we are actually an energetic being, what we need to realize is that only a small percent of like our true potential, our energetic capacity is ever housed in our body, right? Because we're just too big. Like if anyone ever sees themselves, they actually realize how fucking amazing they are. And so, like, when we go through this life, the ability for us to anchor more into our soul is often limited because of our life experience, because we've shut it off, because we've been told it's too woo-woo, because we've been told that like insane knowing like doesn't make sense, right? So of course, but all of that stuff is not true. And so when you start to, realize who you really are and that you're actually a soul having a human experience, you anchor more of that into yourself. And that's when I believe, and I'd love to know your experience working with women and people in this realm, is like when people tap into that, they actually realize who they truly are.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's a gift that I think, what I know everybody has, but
Yeah.
I think everybody should be curious into, because if you're
Mm.
not curious into what is more for you, which is all it
Yeah.
is really, is,
Yeah.
well, what are you living for?
Yeah. And I always find it interesting that like this fascination on the mind, logic, and science as the ultimate truth, right?
Yeah.
When really, when we're coming from that lens, the mind can only ever react by something that it's seen or experienced. So, and therefore, it's only ever limited to what it has experienced, right? And science is completely limited to the technology of the time. So
Yeah.
there is this like whole consciousness that is really living from this place of limitation because
Yeah.
they've bound themselves to mind being the intellect and the only way and the only form of intelligence, which we know is not true, right? And that science is like the ultimate faith.
Yeah, and I find it really interesting that people
Mm.
trust in science more, which can be completely made up and dictated
And
to
often is.
manipulate what they want as the outcome,
Yeah.
usually for money, and
Yeah.
they don't trust themselves or they don't trust others that are trying to help them connect with their truth that isn't using anything
Yeah.
outside of themselves.
And I love that you touched on that because it's such an important point. When a person trusts themselves, is connected to their body, and I specifically work with women. I'm not sure, do you work
A bit of
with
both, yeah, a
bit
bit
of
of
both?
both, but
Yeah.
mine
So
primarily is women as well, yeah.
yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that because I am speaking more from the feminine lens because that is who I work with.
Yeah.
Um, And so when a woman is connected to her body, to her own knowing, she knows exactly within her soul what is right for her. And that's when she becomes unfuckwithable. That's when she trusts herself. That's when it doesn't matter what media and stuff are saying to her
Mhm.
because she knows, right?
Yeah, and as you say that, actually,
Yeah.
thinking about it from a male and a female perspective from who I've worked with, is
Yeah.
it is just the same for men. As soon as
Yeah.
they embrace their feminine energy and
Yeah.
they're not trying to be this like, oh, like
Mm.
they
Yeah.
actually do the exact same. And like
Yeah.
we all have that capacity within us to see
Mm.
ourselves
Yeah.
as, but also as you say that, I'm like, ugh, because that I know is what I'm stepping into next is like allowing myself to be fully seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I know we were going to do a bit of like a reading today, but I also am like, I just literally could talk to you and be like, blah, blah, blah. And I love that because that's when you know that you're
Yeah.
really connecting with somebody that
Yeah.
is on the same wavelength because it's just like we've never spoken before. Like
No.
it's
No.
insane. Like we don't know each other other than what we posted on Instagram. And I'm just like, hi, it's great to see you. Blah blah blah.
I know, right? And I love that's what I love about when you operate in frequency or, because I was just like, yeah, I'd love to come on this and talk to you. Like there was, and I don't really like know that much about like what you do to the like the nuance in that, but I think it's a testament to what happens when you follow that. I feel called. I want to connect to this person. Let's see where this goes.
I love it. I love it when you have that trust, though, in that, in every decision that you make. If it's a
Mm,
yes,
yeah.
fully dive into the yes because it will align in route. And I always believe that
Mm,
when you make a decision off of a yes, I'm being pulled into that,
mm,
there's a greater reason along the line of why. So, like, often from the
mm,
beginning of my journey, I will have like briefly spoken to a few people. Now they're really coming up with opportunities. And it's like
mm.
that happens. We have to nurture our yeses.
Yeah. And I think building relationships with people who are doing really amazing work,
Yeah.
particularly as females, and supporting each other in any way that we can is such an important part of this collective healing that we going on, particularly as the feminine is rising from her period of sleeping. And this goes for, men in leadership positions as well, is like less of that competitiveness and
Yeah.
more of collaboration.
Yeah. It's like, but then people have to know their strengths and weaknesses
For
to
sure.
really dive into that. And oh, I don't know, the ego can show up pretty big, can't it? To stop
I,
that.
I, I actually, I'm not, I have a bit of a controversial belief here, and this might be quite
Oh yeah,
activating
love it.
for a lot of listeners, but the ego is not a bad thing.
No.
And if you're a woman, you need a little bit of ego. The ego unchecked, the ego when it's sabotaging you, that is a problem. But the ego, everything in nature exists for a reason. Fire, destruction, that is all there for a reason. So we have to look at our ego the same way. We are divine creatures. We wouldn't be made with one if we didn't need it, right? Even if it
Mm.
is just to learn how to harness it. So there is this like realms in this talk in spiritual land that the ego is the ego is the devil, and I just don't subscribe to it, because if you're a woman, you actually need to back yourself. You need to back yourself in rooms where people won't, right? Where you need to be like, no, this is what I'm going to stand up for. This is what I'm going to like, this is the hill that I'm going to die on, that I'm going to take a stand in. And that requires a little bit of ego. But
Yeah.
we never want the ego to be sabotaging us. And that balance is a fine line to get that in check, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's just all a balance, really, with absolutely everything
Mm.
in life. And it is definitely something that I think I've struggled with, because I think before, like saying, like 5 years ago, my ego in sabotage was well in force. It was like I couldn't hold my emotion. So
Yeah.
instead of holding it, I would just
Yeah.
disrupt everything or run away. Like Australia was literally my favorite place to run away to. It was like, yeah, off I go, see ya. and and it was irrational behavior was coming through from the ego. And then gradually I kind of went the complete opposite way. And
Yeah.
then I felt like I was being completely walked over. And
Yeah.
I was literally a mat on the floor and everyone was just coming through. And I think I've really grown to embrace it and go, no, this is what I'm here for. Like, but you have
Yeah.
to have the backing behind you. So that's where I had
Yeah.
to go away and do all the healing, and I had to go and study, and I had to dive
Yeah.
into everything I knew I was here for. So then I didn't have to prove it to anyone. I just like
Hmm.
can show up. And even my partner said, for a long time, even she knew what I was able to do in feelings. I'm massively feeling based.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I and visualization. So a lot of my healing with clients is through visualization. But
Mm.
I can get connected to my feeling, visualize somebody, and I can
Mm.
tell you exactly how they're feeling, even if they're on the other side of the world. And
Mm.
she knew I could do this, but even she was a bit like, oh no, like
Yeah.
it's everyone can do it. Like don't be like that was like
Yeah.
everybody, like don't read into everything. And it was because there was this lack of belief there, but that was stemming from me because I was lacking the belief. And
Yeah.
then at Christmas I said to her, as
Yeah.
we were driving to her parents' house, I said, because I always do this, I always tap into like my energy before I go into a busy space to know what I can give, to know who I can connect with. And I did it, and I said, there's someone pregnant that's coming today. And then
Mm.
her sister gave us a card and it had like her baby scan in it. Yeah.
See, yeah, I love that. I
And
love
then it
that.
completely switched for us. It was like, she was like, okay, I understand.
Yeah. And I think what you touch on is such an important thing that all women go through is like not being like, fuck yeah, I'm the shit. And
Yeah.
you being the shit doesn't mean that your partner can't be the shit or that I can't be the shit. We
Yeah.
can all be amazing together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But
because
there is this.
like she's got a different type of incredible gift. Like her intuition is hot. You walk into a room and she'll be like, yes, no, like this is what we need to do. And
Yeah.
she will know where to guide us. Like
Hmm.
incredible.
Yeah.
So together, when you embrace both sides, it's
Yeah.
insane. It's like electric. But as soon as one is off kilter and the
Yeah.
ego's either too high or too low,
Yeah.
we are like we clash so hard.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's feminine and female and female. That is just couples in general.
For
Uh,
sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, it's super interesting when we're coming from like disembodiment or wounding or any of those things is where we start to see that dissonance. Because for me, everything in the energy in the universe, we're either in resonance, so we're a match, or in dissonance, and we're not. And that doesn't mean that when we're in dissonance, we can't come back together, because if we're acting from a way that's not integrated in terms of our energy, then of course we're not going to be a match, right? And I think that like when people come from wounding, lack, limitation,
Yeah.
and that's where you like you do butt heads, because it's not, you're not in flow, you're not in sync,
Yeah.
right?
And like if you're in that really hurt place when you meet the person, you are probably drawing in the
Mm.
person that is for your wound, not for your healed version of you. And I know that like when I, for example, met my partner, we were both in such like a
Mm.
good place where we were so comfortable being single and
Yeah.
content in ourselves that we were like friends for like 3 months before anything like evolved, because it was
Mm.
just like, oh, we're so okay with this. Like there was no force, there was no like, it was
Mm.
just spending quality time together. And I think that a lot of people try and force meeting somebody rather than healing themselves and allowing life to put somebody in your path.
For sure. And this is where like embodiment from a feminine perspective is like your superpower.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you are embodied in yourself, what brings you pleasure, when you're living in alignment to your body, her cycles, this is where you become magnetic. And like you can't force this shit. Like the stuff that I've manifested through embodiment. And like, I'll be honest with you, I'm a Capricorn. So I'm pretty like, I'm going to get shit done, right? Like I can push
Yeah.
shit up a hill. Okay. Trust me, I've done both. I'm telling you, there is an easier way, right?
I love it.
The shit I can manifest in my business
Yeah.
when I am living in alignment is wild. Like whenever I hit a new income goal in my business, I'm on holidays. The first time I hit 10K, I was holidaying in Indonesia. The next time I hit 10, 15K, I was at Burning Man. The next time I hit 20K, I was,
Really?
yeah, I was literally on holidays and on some fucking random beach with my mum. Do you think I was doing anything then for the business? No. But I understand my
Wow.
masculine, my feminine, and my unique energetic blueprint is experience, is fun, is like there's a sense of playfulness that comes. So when I'm in that place, I'm magnetic.
Yeah.
Like,
And you're basically in that time where you're settling, you're like
mm,
opening your capacity to hold more. And then of course it's coming in and it's going, I'm gonna come to you because you can hold me.
yeah. I'm not acting in fear or scarcity or any of that. And like, and I've been experimenting with this like recently, and it is so fascinating
Yeah.
to set this up. And when I have acted from fear or scarcity or even following another person's strategy, it costs me money. Like
Mm.
it is wild the results that you can get when you're actually in your embodiment.
Yeah. Do you know what? That is huge because I think there's so many people out there. It doesn't matter if you are an individual or a business owner. There's so
Mm,
many people out there trying to sell a routine, sell a program. And actually, if
yeah,
that person, I 100% believe that everybody should have a coach, healer, mentor at all times. But
yeah,
I do also believe that that person has to be tailoring it completely
yep,
personally to you, because
yep,
the structure for Billy Bob down the road isn't going to work for me.
for sure. And that's why I say I'm not going to teach you strategy. I do, but
Yeah.
I don't teach a strategy. Your alignment is this is strategy. I teach you to embody your unique energetic blueprint and unlock your secret codes to success. And that looks different to me. And it takes a bit of clients to get their head around when they come, because they were like, well, I just want to be like you. And I'm like, well, no, because that's me. You have to find your unique rhythm,
100%. That's so
right?
good. It's
Right?
so
Like
good
I
because you're also empowering them
don't,
to step into their success, their best version of them. And
yeah,
I like, on this podcast, for example, I've had some
yeah,
people say to me, but you're getting on people that do the same thing as you. So, like, isn't that a competitor? And I'm like, No, not at all. Absolutely not.
Mm.
Because who's going to work with me won't
Mm.
work with them. And who's going to work with
Yeah,
them won't work with me, because you have to go off of energy and
for sure.
find the person that you actually trust to fully
Mm.
open up to. And if you have
Yeah,
that trust, magic things happen. Oh my gosh.
for sure. And I think that's such a scarcity way to look at things. Like if
Mm.
we're in the feminine and we're abundant, there is enough, more than enough to go around,
Absolutely. Like the
you
world is
know?
massive.
The world
And
is huge.
but and when I even think about, even in my local area, I
Yeah.
know everybody probably needs my service. But
Mm-hmm.
and then we work online, and it's like we're in a whole freaking world full of
Yeah.
people that are chasing a version of success that probably isn't theirs. It moves at rapid speed. There's so
Mhm.
many people suppressing their emotions. There
For
are
sure.
enough people.
For sure, right? There is more than enough to go around. And I actually love having people that I can refer to. Like if I know someone's awesome at their stuff and I get a call and someone's not the right fit for me, I have no problem sending them to someone who I know is amazing, right? Because I just don't act from that limitation or because I believe and I know the people who are meant to be with me will find me.
Yeah, and also like if you're doing what we do for the
Yeah.
right reasons, then you will always do that and pass it on, because I'm not here. Yeah, okay, the money's fabulous. It makes me be able to live my life,
Yeah.
but that isn't the reason. Like, what I say to people is, your money isn't my success. It puts food on my
Mm.
table. What
Mm.
is my success is your happiness. So if I can get you there, then absolutely let's freaking go for it, because we can. But if I think, like you're saying, somebody's better, then you need to
Yeah.
go over there.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
And you, like the work that we do is so sacred
Mm.
that you only want to be working with people who are aligned with you.
Or it doesn't work. It
It doesn't
literally
work.
doesn't work if they're not aligned. So it's like there's no, I can't take you on because it's not gonna
No.
work.
Like I will not work with anyone who's an atheist. I don't care. I'm sure there's
No.
amazing mindset coaches. Yeah, because I help you bridge the spiritual into the practical. You can be curious or agnostic,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But if,
Okay. Right. Yeah. So
but
I.
if,
That's what I was about to say. Is I probably would, if they were curious and they were
yeah,
wanting to expand their consciousness into new realms of
yeah,
living and belief. Um.
yeah.
But yeah, I do hear what you mean, because if they are blocked off from spirit, then how do you connect with their spirit? You can't.
Well, and I'm not here to prove to anything to anyone. Like, I don't
No.
live in that energy. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, I actually ask, are you spiritually open? That's one of my qualifying
Yeah.
questions when I talk to people, right? And I've said no to people because they're not. And these were amazing women. But I was like, I'm not going to have to prove the
Yeah.
work to you. I want you to come. And I've worked with women who would have considered themselves atheists, but through our work now would consider themselves very spiritual,
I
right?
love that, because that is
Yeah.
true expansion. Because you can be, also, it's really good to point out, is spirituality isn't a religion. You can be
No.
a religious
Yeah.
and you can be spiritual, or you can not be religious and you can be spiritual.
For sure. And some people are not spiritual, but are really spiritual. Like some of the most spiritual men I know would not consider
So true.
themselves
My
spiritual,
stepdad
right?
is like that. He's like, no, I'm an
Yeah.
atheist. I don't believe in this. And then I'll
Yeah.
talk to him. I'm like, you do realize you're talking about energetics, spirit,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
and then I don't think he really wants to fully admit it, but he's talking about it.
Yeah, right. And I think these labels are always interesting because there's a lot of spiritual bypassing in the world and, a lot of spiritual people. I think there's a lot of toxic behavior in these communities, particularly with this whole, like, you and I both work with emotions. So we know the sacredness of rage, of shame, of guilt, and the importance of expressing that, right?
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
so toxic to
Oh,
ignore.
yeah, and I have seen that. I had somebody come to me that had gone to somebody else, and it actually triggered more within them that um in a really unhealthy way, because I really, yeah, I encourage people to feel their rage, to feel their anger, their frustration.
Mhm.
That's also what I'm here to channel for them. Like, is, you know, express your anger out on me because I can hold it. But that person that
Mm.
is down the road probably can't hold it. So do it in a safe place here with me.
Mm.
But they
Mm.
had an experience where they went to a facilitator and it was used against them. And that makes me so sad because it is a
Yeah.
sacred work. Like, I feel the responsibility, sometimes probably too much. And
Mm.
I'm like, this isn't hoo-ha woo-ha. Like, this is
Mm-mm.
people's genuine lives and emotions that dictate
Mm.
every single thing in their life then on after.
Yeah. And it's like anger, I think, is such an interesting one. Whereas, like for men, I feel like men can't feel sadness and they go to anger, right?
Yeah.
Because real men, there's that bullshit thing that real men don't cry. And
Yeah.
women are the opposite. Women will go to grief and sadness because they don't want to be seen as too much. The angry woman, heaven forbid a woman be angry.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
And so we've got these like two polar experiences that are playing out because both sexes and genders and the spectrums that lie in between that have been conditioned to not express what is just a natural emotion when that actually gives you really important data, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
I It's funny as well because our dog really doesn't like it when one of us is angry. And even if we're not
Mm,
saying anything or raising our voices, he will know. And
yeah.
he'll kind of like come up to you and like whine and stuff. And
Mm,
he's a guard dog, so he's very like protective, but
yeah.
he can feel it. Raise your
Yeah.
voice a little bit, and he
Yeah.
like is super sensitive to it.
Mm,
But I'm like, it is a shame, really, because that's in his innate behavior, and
mm,
that's something that's really good to release, and that
yeah.
vocalizing it is actually
Mm,
a really really great way of expression, because when we're expressing it through voice we breathe.
yeah.
Like, a lot of people, when they're like angry and stuff, they go silent, they don't want to express it, and then
They're keeping
then
it
they
in.
forget to breathe,
Yeah.
and then they're like, and then everything goes tense. And actually,
Yeah.
it's like, if you're talking, you can't talk without breathing.
No. And then like we get the healthy effects that come from that, right? The
Yeah.
suppression of anger. And I think what people don't realize about these big emotions that we don't feel is they forget that the more we can go into our grief, our sadness, our anger, the more we can experience our creativity, our pleasure, our joy. Like every time I go into my anger and I'm like, I have no, I'll be real fucking angry. Like I'm punching pillows, I'm smashing things. Like I love it, right? I love a bit of anger practice.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm always like, is
Love me
somebody
a
going
rage
to get a
circle.
tantrum?
Yeah, no, seriously, I literally go out into nature and I'll be like, sorry, rock. I'm gonna like pick you up and throw you and stomp my feet and scream and do all things. But it's amazing. After that, like
So good.
inspiration flies through me. I feel lighter. Like the first time I did that, I could not believe what I was carrying inside. I was like, holy fuck, I'm like 10 kilos lighter.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up the dog, because
Yeah.
we need to learn more from animals, because
Mm,
what they're able to do is they
mm.
can't hold emotion. Like, they
No.
feel like the only thing that makes us hold our emotion is our thinking brain. So if we
Yeah.
can drop it back and actually
Yeah.
go into our animal body, then we
Yeah.
will actually, when we're on a walk, like you're saying, pick up a rock, fucking throw it, like go
Brave.
up to a tree, like squeeze it really hard, like you're going to suffocate it. Take the energy out of these natural resources, like dogs and animals would. And,
Yeah.
like, there is so many natural resources to use though in that way, because also, like, on the opposite side of rage is so fun. I actually find it really good fun. I'm like buzzing off of this conversation. I'm like, I want to go and throw a rock.
I know. I'm so
But
gonna have like an Angus thing
a
on the
little
weekend.
anger session, let it out.
Yeah.
But on the other side, there's that nurturing, that flow. Okay, well, let's go sit by a river, let's go and write by a river, or just
Yeah.
notice the water flowing. And we can use all these elements just to really purify everything within us.
Yeah, and like then we can love ourselves in all of our shades
Yeah,
and not judge ourselves for just having a human experience where
yeah,
something upset us or something violated us or something hurt us, right? Because like what really is going on if someone's angry is there is a need that's not being met, it's been violated, and there's grief and sadness there. And so when
yeah,
you can tap into that, like it completely changes the energy.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
absolutely. And I think some people won't know what is actually causing their anger. They will
No.
often think that it's that surface level thing. And
Yeah.
then what will happen in like a session with me, they'll be like, oh, I'm really angry about this. And I'm like, okay, let's talk a bit more about that. And
Mm.
they'll like literally within a few minutes, I'll be like, can you tell me about this experience when you were 6?
Yeah, right?
And actually, like, it's right rooted way back, and they're
Yeah.
pulling. It's just that trigger is there. um
Yeah.
and I think that's where people need the support, because every single day we're feeling new emotions, not even day, minute, seconds.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's hard to hold your emotion on your own. Like, it is
Well,
actually a hard thing.
if you haven't been taught, you don't know that it's
Yeah,
safe to be
yeah.
grief, to feel your grief. If you don't understand how an emotion works, I get a lot of clients that'll say, yeah, but if I go into it, it'll just never stop. And I'm like, no, it's actually never going to stop because you're not going into it, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody, like an emotion only takes 3 to 5 minutes at its peak to be fully expressed. So you going into it at like 30 to 40% and suppressing it is actually the very thing that's holding on to it. But because people don't know that, they don't understand it. And so then they are scared of it. And you can't blame people.
No, and like, I like to see healing as living, because I think, no,
Yeah.
what we're doing is just learning how to live. Like, and
Yes.
when you get so, it is really hard at the beginning. Like, hats off to like, because everyone I work with is usually
Mm,
right at the beginning of
yeah.
like, they're at the, the dark night, that kind of place, or
Yeah.
or they have had this like epiphany where they've come
Yeah.
out of the dark night and they're like, okay, there's another world, but I don't know what that other world is. They're the two kind of people that I mainly
Yeah.
work with. And
Yeah.
um and I see it in them, is it's really hard. It's
Mm.
because at the beginning you're getting used to something that you've never done, and then
Yeah.
you have to be, me as the facilitator, I have to really feel all of my emotion, because you have to show
Mm.
them that
Mm.
actually I thrive when I'm upset, when I'm grieving, when I'm angry, because I know what's to come afterwards, because I felt the joy so much from the release that now I actually embrace those moments. But at the
Yeah.
beginning, you just can't embrace it. So you need somebody that's walked that walk to embrace it with you.
For sure. And that's where I think coaching is such like if you're someone who wants to lead, if you're someone who knows you're here for, and I say that as someone like I've worked with my coach for nearly 5 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right? Because it is like, and I say that as someone that facilitates these spaces because it doesn't matter where you get to on your path, you still have blind spots. You still, like, there are things that, are in your subconscious, in your trauma imprints, in your lineage that you get to uncover. And that process is really sacred, and it is just these new layers of unraveling that we get to go through.
Yeah, because like, we are just human, we all have that
Yeah,
thinking mind giving us those blind spots.
I
And
know.
yeah, I always make sure that I'm working with somebody at some time, because I only think that your time to move on from the person that you're working with is if they stop growing at any point.
For
If
sure.
you
Yeah.
are both continually growing, you can stay
Mm.
working with that person for, oh my gosh, however long.
Exactly. And there's other people that I've worked with for different things,
Yeah,
because
like
we
dropping
can
in
see,
and
Yeah, I drop in and out with other people because I don't expect her to give me everything. She
Yeah.
can't, right? But there is a big alignment between the way that I work and the way that she works and the needs that I have, right? And where I am in life. And if it got to a point where that was no longer aligned, we would end the coaching partnership, right? But it hasn't got to that point yet. But that doesn't mean that there are other things that I've wanted to learn that I've sought different support with. And I think that
Yeah.
that's really important to know that when you are in this self-development, self-growth thing, is that it will consistently evolve.
Yeah, and we've got strengths and weaknesses as does everyone. So
Mm.
we might offer you our strength, but somebody else will offer you their strength, and that's freaking cool because then
Yeah,
you become like
yeah,
just you're like absorbing all of your different purposes, and
exactly.
when you can be that dimensional person that can show up in so many different ways, I don't know, that is probably the the thing I embody the most is
Mm.
come to me if you want to be multidimensional, like, because that is epic. Like, if you can be
Mm-hmm.
that, you can be everything. Like, you can literally walk into any room with confidence, joy,
Mm-hmm.
power, that, you're embodying everything that you're here for in every single room. And you can walk into a room and go, this isn't the room for me. Okay, cool.
For
I'm going
sure.
to leave. That's the room for me. Let's head on in there then.
For sure. And I think like that discernment and that I always think that like failure is a really interesting thing that I see a lot with like leaders and particularly high achieving women. And I'm curious if you see this as well, where if the relationship with failure is something that's holding them back, they will see setbacks as evidence of like I'm not good enough
Yes.
instead of like it's just not aligned.
Yeah. It's like if I went into that room in the
Yeah.
past and I didn't feel like I was accepted there, I would
Hmm.
immediately think there was something wrong with me, that
Yeah.
I would doubt everything in my body and my
Yeah.
mind. Whereas now I will very happily stand in a room on my own, look around and I just observe and just be. And then I'll leave and I'll be like, okay, that wasn't the room for me, but there'll be another one. And that's
Yeah.
okay. But it does come when you're so accepting of who you are, what you're here for. Um,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, like I definitely still get challenged as
Oh,
because we've got to grow, as we were saying.
sure.
And
For
I put
sure.
myself in situations because I also love to grow. So
Yeah.
and challenge myself. I love a challenge. I'm like, go on, give it to me. So
What star sign are you?
so I'll put myself in this position where I'm like sweating and I'm like, oh my God, like, is this gonna be okay? And then I just
Yeah.
have to remind myself, okay, breath, bring yourself back in. You're okay in
Yeah.
any situation, you're choosing to be here. Like,
Yeah.
but you do
I
have to
really love
also
being
accept.
around people that are like really far ahead of me because it puts
Yeah,
my problems into perspective. Like sometimes I'm like, you just need to quit. Or like, do you know what I mean? I think it's really interesting being within people, whether it be personal development, business development, spiritual development. It can be really humbling because then it really helps you realize that every ship is kind of battling the same storms. The conditions and the ship themselves are just a little bit different. Like some when they're starting out, maybe don't have like the full luxury liner. They're like, they just got a catamaran that's getting a bit beaten around when the storms come up. And then as you grow, you do go into the more, some are just in a little dinghy, right? And so the waves
yeah.
are like really fucking big.
It's
Right?
so good because I
You
remember
know?
as well, I was like, yeah, do you know what? I love spending time with people that are ahead of me because they show
Yeah.
me that my problems probably will never end. So I've got to accept them if I want to continue. And
Yeah.
that is such a good analogy. It's like here I
Yeah.
am in my dinghy getting absolutely fucking swamped, and they're still getting splashed in their catamaran. I love that.
Yeah.
What's next? A cruise ship? I don't want to own a cruise ship.
No, I'm more of a like a yacht kind of girl with like nice leather interior, right? But that's like big enough to not get like smashed around, all custom designed. Anyway, we do digress.
I know. I only want it to be in the Caribbean waters where it's really calm. And whenever there's a hurricane, we can leave.
For sure, for
Oh my
sure,
God.
right?
I love that. I love it so much. So, oh my gosh, it's incredible work though when you can
Mm,
learn how to tap into this then. So,
mm, mm.
do you work with people to teach them their
Yeah,
psychic gifts, or is
yeah.
it embracing them to have more business success?
Both.
Okay,
So
amazing.
this is where I'm quite different, right? So I actually think with the world that we're entering in, women who, or anyone that is activating their spiritual gifts, they are going to be the leaders, right? Because AI is going to have the ability to whip out freaking anything. People who are spiritually connected, they're going to be the people who can innovate. They're going to be the people who are creative, who can think uniquely because they're not going to be thinking from this realm. They're going to be tapped into higher states of consciousness, right? So, what I do is I help women connect to their wild woman so that they can awaken that like primal nature, right? Like that part of them that's fierce, that's unapologetic, that's confident, that's no longer like held back by people pleasing or like self fucking sacrifice or like I'm not good enough to be around my peers, right? Because it's really interesting how imposter syndrome comes in like as you get higher in your career. I always find that fascinating. And then we go through a process of like connecting them back to their feminine, unleashing their connection to their body, helping
Mhm.
them build lives in alignment with their cyclical nature. And then we go to activating the psychic gifts because activating your psychic gifts is just an innate talent. It is your ability to hold more of your soul, to connect to other forms of communication. Like literally yesterday I ran the first day of a program I run called Work on Wired Woman Rising. And I do this exercise where I write words on the back of a bit of paper and draw pictures and I put them around the room. And then I test them after I've gone through and activated their psychic gifts to tell me what is on the bits of paper. Now, these women went in thinking they couldn't do that. Within 45 minutes of each other, were blown away that they could read what they couldn't see,
Wow.
right?
Oh my
Every
God, that's epic.
It's amazing. And that's like that is a woman's innate ability, right? We have the ability to work with the untangible, with the worlds of the energetic. And so what I do is I kind of mix the worlds of mysticism, witchcraft, shamanism, psychic, because to me it's just all kind of the same. It's spoken in different ways, right? And I'm a
Mm.
really fucking old soul, so I've got a lot of life experience that I like get to pull on, right?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. When you said that, I've had a couple of people when they've gone
Mm.
into my past life. I was a shaman before my
Yeah.
life now, and it makes so much sense to me because I always work from like the fifth field, which I need to work more from the source, but that comes from my connection with
Yeah.
my gift.
Yeah.
And because it can be quite tiring working from like that fifth field, like because
Yeah.
I'm feeling everything. Whereas if
Yeah.
I was from the source, I could then bring it up from the connect
Mm.
into me. So
Yeah.
that's something I definitely need to work on. But I've also never done an exercise like that, and I think
Yeah.
that would be my stepping
Yeah.
stone into that ego that we're talking about. Is when
Mm.
clients work with me, I'll just
Mm.
do it. Like
Yeah.
I know that I have ability to feel, and I can
Yeah.
tell them where their trauma comes from or what their trauma is if they can't feel, if they don't know what it is.
Mm.
And but I've never done like practical exercises to
Yeah.
actually like test it.
And that's what I do. Like I literally, every woman has their own unique gifts. And this is what's very different about the way I teach is I'm not going to teach you to activate my gifts. We're going to work out what your unique gifts are through. And that's just one of a range of a very wide exercises that I do with Wear Right. And it's all about them developing the way that the spirit, that energy, that the universe wants to communicate with them. Now, this woman came into that session thinking that her intuition was her strongest one and she couldn't believe that she could see what was behind the bit of paper. So we were able to tap into a gift she didn't even know she had. Right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. But I think a lot of people think that it's just intuition and it's something else.
Yeah, and there's all and like this is the thing, the more you heal, the more you go through your process, the more spiritual gifts open up. So for instance, I like when I started working with my witch wound and like getting back to our ego thing, me owning that I'm a powerful witch is something that I'm still getting comfortable with, right? Because I've been killed fucking heaps for that shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing
Right?
is when people suppress you in what you're doing,
Mm,
even if they don't understand spirit and stuff, when somebody belittles you, when somebody
mm.
takes the mick out of you, that is suppressing you, which is your gift. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel that with you for sure, 100%. And we have to
Yeah.
be bold in who we are. So,
Yeah.
how are you in working to embody your inner witch?
Yeah. It's giving myself permission to actually own how powerful I am.
Mm.
And then that's that ego piece. I don't say that from a from a wounded perspective, I say that as like ownership of my gifts. Like if I'm in session with someone, we can go back into past lives and I can see what they're experiencing in their body, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right? All the time with my clients. Yeah. I can
Yeah.
literally go and communicate with Sacred Mother. I can go down and connect to earth consciousness and create a ritual and an embodiment practice or a meditation for my clients that activate them, that works with earth energy. I understand how to work with the elements and like this is all stuff that like I'm just really starting to own that that is unique, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. So I feel like we're on such a similar path with it
Mm,
because I will always do all of my visualizations, meditations, personalized sessions, and practices for
mm,
people from connecting to the earth. Like, if I am
yeah.
not touching the ground when I am
Mm.
recording, it it doesn't work. I have to be connected to earth, and then I
Yeah,
can channel into exactly what that person needs in the
yeah,
elements. And I use elements all the time, just embodying all the senses. But
right.
when going into like past lives, like
Mm,
mine, let's say I would say to people, is a lot more easier to understand because what I'm
mm,
saying is that I can energetically feel people and see
yeah,
people. But
yeah,
going into somebody's past life,
mm,
I believe it because I've
mm,
experienced it, like where I've been
yeah,
also taken back and I have been in the
mm,
visualization and I've seen my past self. But
mm,
for those that don't know what that's like or have never heard of it before,
yeah,
like, and I'm going to ask this question that I get asked all the time, and then often
yeah,
I'm like, I can't explain it, but like, how
yeah,
have you found this? Like, how are you
yeah.
doing this?
So what I think is really important for people to understand is that we are an energetic being.
Mm.
And as an energetic being, we carry imprints, memories, like a map of every time that we have incarnated
Mm.
within us. So there is no such thing as an irrational response. And I'll tell you an experience about one of my clients that'll like blow your mind in a minute, right? Everything is being activated from something, whether that be this life, ancestral, past life, right? And because I have a really good understanding of trauma and how that works, I started working on myself and realizing that I could go back into past lives, past experiences that were stored in my body, in my energetic field, relive them, close them, and then reconnect to the powers from that time. So I started doing it on my clients, right? So essentially, if we understand that we are just this energetic map and the energy is either moving or it's not moving, anything that's not moving is stagnation, and that is an imprint that's been caused by an event or an experience that's caused us harm, right? So
Yeah.
we can go into where that imprint is stored within the physical or energetic bodies, and we connect to it. And there is a memory or an experience stored within that. And so then we just go through the process of creating safety, of expressing what needed to be expressed, saying what couldn't be said at that time, and you free yourself from that imprint, right?
Yeah.
Like one of my clients, when she was a child, she went on a cruise and she wrapped her, like she literally like got sticky tape and like sticky taped herself to the bed and would not move. And her parents were like, what the fuck? My child like literally thought that they had to put her into a home, right? Or some kind of like
Yeah.
psychiatric. board, right? Because it's very, we went in one of our sessions, we went back to when she was a witch. She was wrapped in this like woolen blanket and thrown into dark water. So her body, when she was on this cruise ship, was seeing this dark water. The body was going, I was killed last time. So the instincts of the body is I need to create safety. Right. And so this is what we need to understand, that there is no such thing as an irrational response to anything. There is something that is activating, be it from this life, be it from past lives, that is showing up right here and now. And if we go into the realms of quantum physics, we understand that this is all happening at once, like that there's no such thing as like past, present, future. Am I speaking too quick? I'm kind of channeling at the
No,
moment.
no, no, you no, go
Okay,
for it.
good.
I'm loving it.
Right,
Like, it's
right.
amazing.
So
You're
I know
literally
that like
making
when
me like
spirit comes
think
through
of,
like this, I like, and I can feel myself getting hot. So that when we understand quantum physics, where we understand that time is a fucking illusion, it doesn't exist, is that past, present, and future are all happening at once. So we can impact what has happened in our past in this present moment and release it not only from the past, but from this present moment. And then that changes how you respond. And
wow,
I've done
okay.
this time and time and time and time again with my clients and myself.
I love this so much. And I
Yeah.
love your channeling and your passion
Yeah.
because I completely understand what you mean in this life.
Yeah.
Do I understand now what you're saying from another life? I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you fancy channeling in for me?
Okay, sure. Let me channel in for you now. Okay.
Okay.
Nice segue, by the way. You're like, okay, let me get grounded.
While you're in it, we got to
Yeah.
stay in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, sure. Have you been sick lately?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
Not really. Okay. Hold on. Let me. Yeah, it's really interesting. You're not saying what you really want to say right now. And as soon as we jumped on this call, I felt your throat chakra, right? It's like there is so much more to your gifts and to who you fucking came here to be that I think it nearly scares you. And I can feel that you're still trying to be like right brain dominant, right? Like it needs to make sense before you take action. It's not going to make sense. And in fact, if it doesn't make sense, that's actually the thing that you should be doing right now, right? And they're like, yes, they're like clapping you for doing this podcast, but they actually want more from you. So they're like, yeah, this is cute. Like, what's next, right? Like your team is like here and they're like, yeah, 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 okay, but can we like move it on to like the thing that we actually want her to doing, which is TV, and you know that, right? Like,
Yeah.
right. And it's like this is your safe zone, that if you're doing it here, there is an element that like it's limited who sees it. It's like, and it's a good testing ground, right? But they're like, you don't need to test this. That
Mm.
you are really ready for like that next step. And I feel like there's an opportunity that's coming up that you need to take that's going to scare you, right?
Really?
Yeah, but you've got to do it. If it might be in the next 6 months to a year, but there is something coming up that is like it's not going to make sense to you. It's like you're going to be like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if it's right. But your heart and your soul is going to be like, no, we need to go do that thing. And I feel like there is a layer of your business that you get to let go of to do that thing, right? So what are you playing safe for right now, right? Like there's something that you're playing safe in. And I can
Mm.
see that it's kind of making you like a little bit uncomfortable, right? You're like, no, I like this. It's good.
When you even said, have you been sick lately?
Yeah.
Straight away, I'm like, well, not how the normal body would say sick, but I have
Yeah.
felt my throat being stuck,
Yeah.
and it's not I haven't been unwell, but like when I've gone to like kind of express fully who I am, I get like uh, and
Mm.
it's so interesting because I'm friends with lots of psychics and mediums because when you're in this realm of work, you just do
Yeah.
you are all in it. You
Yeah.
are like the third person to say, this is a huge business year. In 6 months' time, you're going to be on stage or on TV. Um,
Yeah.
and there's something that you need to let go of.
Yeah. Like you're playing safe right now and you're not here to play safe. And I do think there is a bit of like whoever you're working with right now, that part of your body that's not feeling safe to speak and to be seen, going
Mm.
in and connecting to that and expressing that and releasing that is really going to help you step into this next phase of your business, your life, your leadership, right?
What is that though? Like, and you're right, because I always want proof. I
Yeah.
am a very, as much as I'm not like sciencey, I
Mm,
also do like a fact. And like I won't ever
yeah.
share a healing remedy or anything that I haven't done myself or that I haven't got
Mm,
evident research on, which I think is
mm,
a good way to be. But I also
mm.
sometimes feel like I get messages through from spirit to be like, do this. It's not going to fucking make sense. Tell the client to do this. And I'm
Mm.
like, I can't do that because I don't know that's going to work. But
Yeah, so there's like an element of you not trusting yourself, right? And you're not trusting your voice. And I feel like that's why it's coming through on this right side as well, because like the right side is like masculine logic, needs to know, needs to understand. Whereas your like feminine side is quite open. So it's like that's all making sense. But do you remember at the start of our call, we literally said that like science is always going to be limited. And so if you're always looking for the science, the proof, and you're not trusting your connection to spirit, you're actually doing a disservice.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And I
Right?
know it. And I think that's in my throat, what I know. But I
Yeah.
think that I'm always wanting to give more. And I think that the reason
Mm.
why I'm always wanting to give more is because I'm not 100% embodying what I actually already have. And that
Yeah.
just comes, like you're saying, is like, it's the trust in, I
Mm.
don't even know if it's in what I do, but I think it's in, um,
I think it's in your trust of your spiritual channels,
yeah,
right? Like it's nearly like what I see when I'm tapping into your energy right now is there is like this amazing channel and transmission that wants to come through you, but it's like you're kind of squeezing it because you don't trust it. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? Like you're kind of just letting it in like a little bit. You're like, yeah,
yeah,
okay, I'll let you in a little bit in the dimensions that like make sense to me,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
not going to make sense. It's
I
not meant
know,
to.
I know. And like it's so interesting
Yeah.
because like I
Yeah.
can visualize celebrities as well. I can
Hmm.
visualize celebrities, and if I really like just come into that feeling of them, I can tell you what their emotional struggle is. And
Mm.
like it's always been like this big visual for me of
Yeah.
working on that scale
Mm.
of like,
Yeah.
and and then but saying that out loud, and the fact that people are going to listen to this and me saying that, like the other day I said to a friend, my on my vision board I've got Oprah, and I'm like, I
Yes,
want to be
queen.
Oprah. I want my own TV show. I want to
Yeah.
like be like doing this podcast but like bigger scale, like TV
Yeah.
scale, and like channeling for people live and stuff. And
Mm.
they literally laughed at me, and I was like, yeah, no, it's quite stupid, isn't it? Like,
No,
but
you don't need to be around. Ah, that makes sense. You don't need to be around those people. Like, if your friends aren't like, fuck yes, you go after that. You need to change rooms,
yeah, yeah,
right?
okay.
Right?
Oh
Or
yeah,
like limit what you share those people. I'm
I
sorry.
know, but then
If
that's
people are
then I
like
think if you're
laughing at your
limiting it, I think if you're limiting it, then you're blocking your truth. And I think that the only way to really step into the higher version of you and your truth is to disconnect. And that doesn't mean that you don't love them or you don't care for them. It's just that there's somebody else there for them, and there's
yeah.
somebody else there for you.
For sure.
Um,
Like your friends, I plan on being famous. I plan on being someone who is like world renowned for her work. And I understand like it's taken me a lot because that means that I have to talk about how spiritual I am. Do you know what I mean? How much that I am a witch, that I understand the different planes of reality and that I have all these really unique gifts that not everybody has, right? So I
yeah.
understand that, but you cannot step into that version of yourself if you are consistently in environments that do not know that that is your inevitable reality.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. And I so, we can all know it. And then like
Yeah.
we need somebody else to say it for us to really know it. And
Yeah.
I think that this is such divine timing because I've just had this massive call and urge to go on this women's like business retreat. And so I
Amazing.
go tomorrow, and like everyone on it is so celebrating. They're literally like, be
Hmm.
big, be bold, like be
Yes.
incredible. And I
Yes.
just feel like in my normal life, I don't know, makes me feel quite sad actually, and I do get quite sad about it. Is I don't actually have anybody that
Mm.
is like my partner does it, but sometimes you just need like your
Mm.
friends and like
Yeah.
people around you to be like, absolutely fucking go for it. You're amazing. Like, let's go. Like, come on,
Yeah.
do this. And I
Yeah.
sometimes feel like I'm pushing my friends to be the best versions of themselves. And
Yeah.
even then, I can maybe sometimes be seen as like the bad person because I'm
Yeah.
saying the truth that other people aren't saying. And actually, what
Yeah.
other people are saying is keeping them in this bad place. And I'm like, no, like, come on, you're made for more than that. Like, let's think, like, let's get the good shit.
Yeah, for sure, right? I think you touch on what is a really important part that I think is really important to speak about, and that is how lonely it can be when you transition from evolution of consciousness into a more embodied, empowered self when you run your own business. And you're like, to me, I think running your own business is one of the biggest spiritual initiations you will go through. And I say that as someone who is a mother. Becoming a mother, running my own business, fucking Jesus Christ, the two biggest spiritual initiations I've ever been in, right? Like,
100%.
and it can be really fucking lonely.
Yeah.
And you have to back yourself. And this is where the ego is a little bit important, particularly in your case, is my sense is like actually fucking owning. Yeah, I'm going to be epic. I'm going to have a TV show. I'm going to interview amazing people. Like, I'm going to share how this work is really fucking important because we need more people in that space.
Oh my God. Isn't it just like that I got shivers down my back.
Yeah.
Like, and I always as well believe in
Mm.
all of these bodily signals. Like, this is
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
for like, even like this, right? Literally in a
Yeah.
second, I'm getting like a body shiver. My spine is up. I've become
Yeah.
bigger. I'm like putting my
Yeah.
shoulders back because you're
Yeah.
believing in me. I'm believing in me, and I'm becoming bigger rather than sitting
Yeah.
small.
Yeah, right? And
Yeah.
that's like the power of community, right? And the power of like who you surround yourself with. Like this is where like environment is so fucking important. Like I always say to people, if people don't believe in my batshit crazy dreams as much as I do, then we can't hang out.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. I feel
Right?
it. Like, I literally feel it because sometimes me and my partner sit here and she'll tell me about these wild dreams, right? And I'm like, yes, babe, like you go for that. If you
Yeah.
believe it, I believe it, we're in it. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then I
Yes.
talk to other people about her dreams and our dreams and my dreams because we're all individuals at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
they're like, you guys are living on a different planet. And I'm like, I don't think we are. Like, I think
Mm.
we are just,
Yeah.
thinking bigger.
Yeah. And it's okay to think bigger. The
Like,
world just
isn't it sad though? Like, what a
Mm.
better world we would live in if everybody was living and being bigger. Someone once said to me, they
Mm.
said, I am going to stop trying because I believe that some people just aren't here for the bigger things. And I just need to accept that I'm one of those people.
Yeah, that kind of breaks my heart a little bit. It is
Yeah.
true that everybody has a sacred role, and some people's roles aren't to become the next Oprah Winfrey or write books or,
Yeah.
speak on stages or do all that. But that doesn't mean that their role isn't important, right? Or that they should give up. I feel like it's very defeatist when someone says that because
Yeah.
people can do epic things without in their own ways. Like I'm thinking, I know someone who is in Indonesia because I lived there for 2 years, right? And literally the pollution there is freaking terrible. So
Mm.
their response to that problem is he literally has created this organization where he's educated locals. They go out into the rivers and they clean out all the plastic and then they make furniture. That's really fucking important,
That's incredible, isn't it? And I
right?
loved living in Bali for that reason, was
Mm,
you saw a different way of living.
yeah,
Nothing, like nothing wasn't possible. And I think this is what people need to remember is there are different scales to possibility. Like, yeah,
yeah,
okay, with a plastic bottle, there is only so much you can do with a plastic bottle,
yeah.
but still give it the potential that it has. Like,
Yeah,
always reach for the absolute ultimate potential in
yeah,
everything
for
rather
sure.
than just like being like, oh, just throw that bottle away.
For sure, right? Like, and I just think we can look at that in many different facets of life. Like, where are you giving up on yourself?
Yeah.
Because because of your life circumstance, because of where you find yourself, that you think that that is the life trajectory. Like, I am a survivor of domestic violence. I had a child when I was 16. If I had have accepted that I was going to be a degenerate mother that had no hope, I would have stayed in that narrative, right? And accepted that's what a lot of people thought. A lot of people cannot believe where I am now, but I didn't accept that because of my life circumstances, that that was all that was available for me. And everybody,
Incredible.
no matter what it is, like if you're someone who wants to farm, like I know other people who like they just want to go live on the land and like produce amazing animals that are like healthy and not full of fucking hormones and antibiotics and organic food. Like that is really cool. Go do that. Right?
Absolutely, 100%. And like, it is just accepting
Mm.
what your passion, your purpose, like what are you good at?
Yeah.
Like what
Yeah.
are you here for? And I know that already I can feel that I'm going to have to challenge myself on what I'm even saying right now. And I think that's the thing that everybody has to remember when we speak like this is they can go, oh, you make it sound so easy. It's like, and they can get quite bitter, like as if it's
Yeah.
easy for us to make these decisions. No, it's not. And we still have to make those hard decisions. Like when you
Yeah.
went through everything that you've been through, you were the one that had to make those hard decisions and to dig
Yeah.
really deep and show up and
Yeah.
become that bigger, bolder version of who you were becoming.
Yeah. It like it is fucking hard.
Mm.
It is fucking hard. I don't sit here and the life that I live requires me to consistently be intentional about how I want to live and who I want to show up and show up when the times are fucking hard. And it is hard. It does challenge every part of me. But so would be working 9 to 5 or 9 to 11 in a job
Oh,
I fucking hate. Like
oh
that's
my
hard
gosh, I
too. So
couldn't.
like which one are you gonna fucking choose?
For
Right?
me, I had this the other day.
Mm.
I had quite like a big client cancel and
Hmm.
nothing in me worried, and it
Yeah.
really made me home in on actually why that was, because it was the first time I ever experienced no worry from such a big cancellation. and
Yeah.
i and I went, do you know what, like I know that something else is coming, and
Yeah.
the fact that that's just happened still would
Mm.
never make me ever want to go back and work for somebody else that doesn't
No.
have the passion, doesn't have that purpose behind what they're doing, that
Yeah.
to conform into somebody else's way of being. Like there is nothing that makes me want to go back there. Like that for me is more painful than sometimes the odd amount of fear of going, I've got to wait for the like magnetic
Yeah.
universe to work for me.
Yeah, and I think I really love that you touched on this because when you live your purpose, when you choose the things that scare you, it doesn't mean that that doesn't come without challenge,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I think it's meant to be honest. There are some that would argue that if you're in flow, things are always happening, and I kind of get that. But then I also think if things are always happening and you're not expanding your capacity, you're not growing.
And I also think the people that are always chasing flow and think that they should always be in flow and probably the people that aren't in flow,
Yeah,
because they might think they are, but they probably won't be because they're not embracing the anger and the
yeah,
upset. And actually, that is part of flow.
for sure, right? For
Yeah.
sure. My craziest manifestations come after I've been angry.
I know.
You know?
Well, I want to go and get angry. I want to like go and
I want you to tell me how your anger
expand.
session goes.
I'm like, let's go light a fire. My gran used to love lighting fires.
Mm,
Like it was a freaking hobby of hers. She
yeah.
just, yeah, she was way more connected to
Mm,
to things than she ever allowed people to know. And I think that that's why we had such a special connection, was because we had those chats down the bottom of the garden. But also
yeah.
I was next to her when she passed, and this is when I really started to believe in spirit, was
Yeah.
because before that I was like healing my body and everything like that. And
Mm,
then she passed, and I honestly, one minute she was there,
mm.
and the next minute it was just a body. And like,
Oh my God, yes.
and I felt nothing, and I felt like, I was like,
Yes.
oh, this isn't my gran. But like,
Yes.
I immediately felt her spirit was like hit. It was like so intense. And when you feel that, I think when you experience death or like see it or feel it,
Yeah.
holy shit. If you don't
Mm,
believe in spirit after that, like,
yeah.
I, God, it was an incredible experience. And like, I would love to have my nan here now, but I would not be here now doing this if I
Mm.
hadn't have had that experience.
And I feel she's with you. When I tapped into your energy a little bit today, I'm like, oh, her grandma's around her. Right?
Really?
Like you could, yeah, you can feel her energy. Like, so it's really interesting that strong connection that you have with her because she's around you. And in fact, I think that like drawing on her wisdom is going to help you in this next iteration because I really feel like she's going to be a pathway for you to access your ancestral
Mm.
lineage and your ancestral wisdom, right? Because there is, particularly being from England, it wouldn't have been safe for her to really practice magic to for her to share her wisdom because within your DNA, within your body, and like my ancestry comes from the UK as well, right? On my mum's side, so the feminine line, that they are the witch hunts. They were very real, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so like that suppression is like also would be interesting to go into your body and see how that's really stopping you, particularly in your throat, from really like owning this next phase of your life, right?
Oh, I am so unbelievably aware that the suppression within me stems from that line. Like, and
Yeah.
I feel like I've gone through my mother, and
Yeah.
now I'm at her, at my gran, and
Yeah.
I know that that part of the suppression comes from that. But I do
Yeah.
know that she is absolutely here, just for some things that have happened. One of them being,
Yeah.
I this was maybe 2 years ago
Hmm.
after she passed. I walked into this hair salon that I had never been to before, but she used to go to. And I
Yeah.
walked in and they went, "You're Rosemary's grandchild." And I was like,
Mm.
"Yeah, how do you know?" And they were like, "You've got her eyes, like you are her."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh my, oh my God, like this is amazing." And then like more things have happened like that. And like my cousin always says to me, "You are the most like her." And I'm like, I believe she's within me. Like she is here.
Yeah.
Like,
I would really like you to start communicating with her because my sense is she is one of your strong spiritual guides, and she really is going to help guide you with where you need to go. And so I would nearly like every week or every couple of days really be connecting to her and doing it outside, inviting fire in, going into the garden where there's flowers that she liked, where there's scents, and really sitting in ceremony and connecting with her so that she can impart the wisdom that
yeah,
she wasn't that was embedded into her DNA, into her codes, right? But that she couldn't share because of the timeline that she was born into in that incarnation.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
I will do it. I will do it because whenever that is one thing I must
Mm.
come from within, but when I'm set something and I know that the reward will come from it, I will always do it.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely going to do that in my practice. And do you know what? Now I'm you've done this with me and I'm reflecting. It's hilarious, isn't
Yeah.
it, how this all works? Because
Yeah.
I'm thinking that was my throat.
Yeah.
That honestly has been my throat, is knowing that. And I have
Mm.
been sitting in my house
Yeah.
going, I want to see her, I want to feel her. Like I've been craving her so much. And like
Yeah.
actually, I
She's really
now,
there.
yeah, I feel like it in my throat. Like I feel
Yeah.
already like this
She
is
wants
it.
to she wants to speak through you, but you have to allow her in,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You've got to learn how to channel her. Yeah?
yeah, I do. And that is just like a new depth that I need to go to, isn't it? Is channeling
Yeah.
the past, not just the present. Because
Or even just channeling her wisdom, right?
yeah, but if I can tap into the people that are in the now, then I
Mm,
should be able to do it. Well, I can do it
mm,
with
mm,
the past, but
mm.
then we're talking about a whole different realm of work, aren't we? Really, we're talking like that's
Multi-dimension.
mediumship.
Oh yeah. But this is all just language that we get. Like, do you know what I mean? This is why it actually took me so long to own that I was a psychic. And it wasn't until I was like talking to another psychic that I'm like, but I do that. But I do that. She's like, yeah, you're a
Yeah.
psychic. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh.
I can't on my Instagram
Yeah.
label myself a psychic. If I do it, it
Yeah.
freaks me out. But I know that that is what I'm doing.
Yeah. But that's just your wounding, right? Like that's something that's like your next level of ownership, right? And it's an invitation. It's an
Yeah.
invitation. Trust me. When I put that I was a psychic up there and now I say psychic leadership coach, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, literally. It's like
we're
the
coming
fireworks
out.
coming.
Right? Yeah. Like, whoo,
Oh,
okay.
well, that is the next step. So watch out
Yes,
for it because you're part of my journey.
I'm so
And
excited. I'm
yeah,
so excited for you.
we'll align so much more. I know it. I can
Yeah.
like I just know. But you're
Yeah.
coming to the UK, aren't you?
I am coming to the UK. Hopefully I will be there by the end of the year. So I would love to stay connected. I'm actually going to be running the course that I run in the
Yeah.
UK. So
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah, so I'm going to be
well
doing the
message
trainings and
me.
stuff over there. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, message me, connect with me,
Yeah.
and I will
Yeah.
have other people listening that are
Yeah.
in this realm of work. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put your link below so everyone can have access to you and your incredible abilities. It's insane. And
Amazing.
I'm just
Thank you.
so grateful for you.
Oh,
It's
and
been
you.
so lovely.
It's been delightful. Like, thank you for like providing this space. It's been amazing to connect with you. Thank you for being open for me, channeling for you. And it's been such an amazing, I feel like our souls know each other because it's just like, do you know
Yeah.
what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah. I'm like, oh my God, come stay. Like we could just
Yeah,
talk. We could talk for weeks. Like, let's
I
keep
know we
going.
could. Yeah.
Oh, bless. Well, I'll keep in touch. Message
Sounds
me,
good.
and we will chat soon.
Sounds good. I'll send you my details. Thank you so much for having me. It's been absolutely delightful.
You're so welcome. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.